outlets and letting your creativity come through, because what happens if we don't have creativity, then we actually, our little spirit inside of us just starts to get slower and slower and slower, and eventually just stops. And we don't want that. We don't want to be people just walking around in shells. We want to have our spirit within us. We want to be alive. And even though we have chronic illnesses and chronic conditions and chronic pain, that doesn't mean that we can't be walking around and feeling alive within ourselves. Feeling like you're still valued. This is something that I know for me, I struggle with. And let's turn that off for a minute. And then I struggle with it. I know that it's very, very hard for me to feel valuable and valued. Not by loved ones. I know my loved ones value me. My mom, my sister, my brother-in-law, other relatives, they value me. I get that. But I mean valued as in you got something to put into the world. Sometimes you have that little spark that happens in a conversation and you know that you've really connected. And you're like, wow, okay, this person is actually listening to what I'm saying and I'm listening to what they're saying. What a unique thing this actually is. You can only do with what you can do and not make yourself feel guilty on top of it, because feeling guilty on top of it, you're actually making yourself feel the sadness and the regret that you can't do what you're doing. Plus you feel the guilt at feeling the guilt of not being able to do what you're doing, and because it affects somebody else. So you're actually feeling it twice, is what I'm trying to say. You are just as important and just as much of a person, 100%, as everybody else. Everybody else can walk around feeling like they are 100% part of being their person, and so can you. You are in no way, shape, or form allowed. I'm telling you, you're not allowed to diminish yourself and what you stand for and what type of presence you have, because you are 100% you, and you need to feel confident in that. And I do not let your spirit get knocked down and get squashed with day-to-day life and with life in general. Because say for example, your best friend says, I'm moving this weekend. I got to get out of there. Is there any way you could come help me? Now, one of two things is going to happen, or one of three things is going to happen. Number one, you're just going to be a jerk and you're not going to show, and you're going to ghost your friend and possibly lose the friendship. Number two, you are going to wake up and feel like shit that day, and you're going to actually end up disappointing your friend because you have to say, look, I can barely get out of bed. There's no way I can help you move. Or number three, everything goes as planned and you are able to go over and help them move, and your friend feels good with it. You did a good job. You helped them. But say the next 3 days you can't get out of bed because you overdid it on that day. And the fourth thing, now this is according to my insane logic, this is the 25% that this could happen, okay? You go over there, you help them move, everything's happy, everybody's a win-win, and it doesn't affect you afterwards. Now, there's four things, but that does not mean that they are created equal. I personally believe they are not created equal because I've been there and I know what it feels like when you feel like you can't get out of bed like those next few days because you overdid it. So think very hard, be very careful. If you have not looked it up or not heard of it or read about it or whatever, look up the spoon theory. I know that there are people that are sitting at home and they're wishing that they knew of some way that they could talk to people, but they feel so isolated, so isolated that you just can't bear to, you just can't bear another minute of being out in the world because you just feel like you're going to implode and you feel like you're going to scream and maybe explode, and you just want to curl up into a dark, small ball in a dark place, like under the covers or inside a house or even a room as big as a shed, and just wish for it all just to get smaller and smaller and smaller, and boop, it's gone, and you're gone, and you don't even have to worry about it anymore. And that is something that I do not wish for anyone. I would not wish that on my worst enemy. Something that is just torturous. And you can't forget thinking about your family, forget thinking about your finances, forget thinking about, your job and where you want to live. You are so that stuff is so far beyond your thinking when you're in this state. Mental status the depression and the anxiety can really affect your day-to-day functional living. If you don't get enough sleep, your brain isn't really going to be functioning the next day. Forget about how it doesn't even function because all the other stuff. If you got a lack of sleep, if you didn't get enough sleep, you're going to feel it right here, and you're going to be passed out, almost unconscious in the afternoon. Then you're going to wake up that evening or that night, and you're going to eat. You're going to be hungry, and you're going to get on the computer. This is what I do, and then you're on the computer for a bit, and then you're awake until 3:00 in the morning because you took that long ass nap earlier in the day. Regular exercise, when I say that basically means just move. Just move your body. If you can't just move, then just kind of stand up for a while. Walk around outside. 5 minutes. Just take 5 minutes. Take 5 minutes in the morning, 5 minutes in the afternoon, 5 minutes in the evening. That's it. That's all you got to do. And don't stay in your bed as much as you want to. So it's Thursday, which means it's the day before Friday, which means the weekend. So some of us don't really care if it's the weekend or not, but I know a lot of you do. So I just want to say, hey, your time is coming, like it comes every 7 days. I don't know why everybody gets so excited over the weekend, because it does come every 7 days. It comes once a week. You know it's coming. You get excited for it. And I did something. I bought something through Amazon. Amazon's so great. Right. So we get on the plane, and I had a window seat. So I sat in the window seat, and I think it was over the wing. And I think the two seats there were supposed to be, the two other seats were supposed to be for my mom and my dad, but either they got moved to the back of the plane. That's what it was. But they let me stay in my seat, and they put these two businessmen sitting in those seats. So they were doing their work, and I was just staring out the window the whole time. I was fine. My mom, on the other hand, was freaking the hell out, because here I am out of her sight, for a better word. And I'm just sitting up there, but I was having a good old time. I was sitting up there looking out the window. It wasn't my first time on a plane ride, but I had been on a plane ride this summer before when I flew back from California on my own after I went out there with my grandma and stayed a month in California when my sister was 1. So that was the first time I ever flew on a plane. The second time was the next year when we took this trip to Florida. So so it worked out really well, except for the fact my sister, it hurt her ears, and we think there's some other things, I don't know, but she screamed and cried the whole entire time. I felt so bad for her, and I felt so bad for my mom and my dad. My dad was he's a pretty heavy smoker, and he was going nuts. He needed to get off that plane. There were entirely too many people on the plane for him. He did not like to be in that close contact. And, he liked wide open spaces and where he could be free to smoke and drink his beer and whatever. So he was freaking out too. So my mom's back there with the two of them trying to keep dad calm, and my sister screaming in her ear. And I'm just sitting in 7 rows up And I could look behind me, look in between the seats like that. And if my mom went like this, we could see each other. She was freaking the hell out because I was up there, but I was having a party all by myself. It was kind of cool. But that is, I hope you have an awesome, awesome Friday. I hope that you have a free loving Friday, that you are free to be you and let people free to be them. And, you know, just love each other, love your family, love your friends. Don't wait. Don't wait to tell them. Tell them now. Hey, in girls and guys, even if you are, say you're dating someone and say you really, really, really like them, but you have no freaking clue, or it's 50-50 whether the other person likes you back just as much. Just tell them. Just tell them. Just go up to them and say, we have a lot of fun together, you know, and I just want you to know I really like you. I really have some good, strong feelings for you. That's it. That's all you got to say. And if you are dating and you are a couple and you're in love and you haven't said the big L word yet, all you have to do is one night when you're watching a movie, or when you're not when you're eating, don't do it when you're eating, but when you're watching a movie, watching TV, just kind of relaxing in the evening, you can just say, you know what? I love doing this with you. As a matter of fact, I love you, and I just want you to know that. Hello. I just solved everybody's problem as far as those two things go.